What's going on, everyone? This is Elias today. I was Elias on the first one, so I'm going to be Elias Trejo on this one today. And I'm here with my crew.
John.
Yeah. Did I get it right?
Ivories.
That was good.
Oh, man. I didn't feel...
I had said, let's put the sound on top, not you do it.
My bad.
I'll let the audience pick.
It's a little better if I'm a little bit inebriated, but that was my best.
Oh, my gosh.
So this is our second one of the day today.
Yeah, it's been forever since we've
What
done
are
that.
we? Are we in 30s yet?
I think so. 28 was the last one. We just recorded 29. 30. So happy 30th episode. We just reached 900 followers on TikTok.
Oh, my gosh.
So thank
We're
y'all
so famous.
for watching. Yeah.
We're almost at 60 followers on YouTube, so follow us, please.
Yeah.
Half of you guys are not following us.
That's pretty cool. You know, I'm not going to lie. Like when we started talking about like the crazy, I don't want to say crazy stuff, but like the divisive stuff, people were tuning in like crazy. But even just lately now we're getting like at least 1,000 views per clip that we're posting. So it's getting kind of cool.
Yeah.
So-
I'm afraid to like bring it up. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I don't mind. Well, we're gonna talk about some different things today. We're gonna get spicy. So y'all get your napkins
Oh,
or
God.
whatever you use to wipe your sweat off. We're gonna talk about.
John's like, where's mine?
We're gonna talk about.
He used it for Red Bull.
No, I dropped my Red Bull all over the floor.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that though, cause
He's so excited. I
I
could
know.
me.
Yeah.
Oh damn. I don't know. But I said we ended the last episode. We're gonna talk about relationships.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about sex, baby.
Oh,
You
God.
can talk.
We're gonna talk about the vulva, John. Right? We're gonna get educational today.
Oh,
Which
no.
here's my goal. One of these days, I want to bring there's sex therapists, right?
Yeah.
So it would be cool to find one. I'm gonna find me a sex therapist. We'll bring him on the show, and yeah, cause like this.
How do you know it's a boy? What if it's a girl?
Yeah.
Can you find one that's a girl, preferably?
Yeah, man. I'll bring a female in, and we can talk about.
First, you need to bring that one lady that does the Reiki stuff on you.
Oh, the Reiki.
Reiki.
Yeah, I could do that. So I got introduced. Did I talk about this once? The Theta Chamber.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Theta Chamber.
No.
I'm going to use that, but I have to wait till after soccer season because it's like 28 days straight and you can't miss a day. There's a place called Dragonfly here.
But what is it? Yes, get the ass in.
To be honest, I don't really know, but you have to be inside of something
Oh.
for like 30 minutes and it's supposed to make you less stressed. Like it's supposed to be just be.
It's not one of those like sound deprivation type things where like they have water, it's un huevito, and you go in there and you're just laying there and it's pitch dark.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. It keeps.
How'd you sign up for something not knowing what it is?
Yeah, for real.
It was a referral from a good friend. She told me to try it. So I'm like,
This is the same friend that refers you to everything that you mentioned.
I think, yeah.
Can we meet that person where she's getting her references from?
Yeah. I mean, I could ask her if she wants to be on the podcast. So, no, it's not.
I was gonna say I think I know who it is.
It's not. Yeah, she's just cool, and she's got like just good. What's the best way to say it?
Vibes.
Yeah, just vibes, but also like just good ideas as far as like ways to heal. Like the Reiki thing was really cool, and Theta Chamber's cool. It's just cool when like you meet people that are like big into like growth and really just like overcoming just traumas or whatever. So because you get good ideas that maybe you wouldn't do otherwise. So yeah. What y'all are being weird.
Weird
So
subject.
yeah. Anyways,
I had to look up this theta chamber. Okay, so
Yeah.
it says it's a sensory deprivation chamber that uses sound, light, and motion to induce a state of deep relaxation and meditation by promoting theta brain waves. And it looks kind of interesting.
All you hear is my breathing.
yeah. So do you guys meditate? So I took a class so I could like teach people meditation.
A ver, goes to 101 real quick.
Yeah.
Do it in a calm voice, like a calm voice. Everybody close your eyes, and if you have headphones, put them on.
This ain't hypnosis. So there is guided meditation, because I think the biggest thing that people struggle with is to really just shut off their brain and thoughts, right? Because like you really do need to like clear your brain of everything, be able to just breathe and focus. So like the guided meditation is really nice. But if you can just kind of get into your own, silence, darkness, and really just, because breathing is such a good exercise. But yeah, if you can meditate daily,
I don't know if this
That's
ties
good.
in, but like cave paintings back in the day, like kind of goes with your, what was it called? What is this thing that you're talking about right now?
The theta chamber
Yeah.
thing?
So they lack sound, and it's dark. So like after a while, have you guys ever like close your eyes and see like shapes?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So apparently, like the cave paintings, that had a lot to do with the shapes that they were painting. They would paint what they saw. I'm sure there's more like back into it, but that is one of the things that they like. How would they explain them doing like the hieroglyphics and stuff in the caves? Is because they were deprived of like light for a very long
Yeah.
time,
yeah,
and they would paint what they saw.
that's way cool.
That's my history 101.
Especially in like this generation with all the noise, with the phones, everything we have, just to be able to just shut off, even if it's for 10 minutes. My biggest advice is just find yourself a nice, quiet, comfortable place and just focus on your breathing, close your eyes, and just try to, anytime you start getting thoughts come out, just bring it back to just
Thoughts or thoughts?
thoughts. Like not thoughts, like thoughts.
You said bring out the thoughts. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it's good. And honestly, that's something that we talk about consistency a lot. Like that's something that I want to continue to do. I want to get my certification so I could, and it was through the Deepak Chopra Institute. I don't know if you guys have read. So,
No.
so he has this big ass book I read called Super Brain. That's super interesting, but he just kind of divides up your brain between like, like there's like your natural brain that like moves your arms and moves your stuff, but then there's like, you can disconnect from your brain to your consciousness. And it's cool because that stuff's been practiced for years and years, and it's just something kind of nice to kind of reprogram your brain on a little bit. So I'm excited for the Theta Chamber. I don't know what it's going to be, but
Where are you going?
I'll
you
do it
said
after
after
soccer
soccer,
season.
huh?
So it'll be probably in the summer. And it's 28 days straight, it sounds like. So we'll see how it
Interesting.
goes. But
Make sure you take your camera.
I don't know if I can take it in there.
We
Well,
won't see
maybe
shit
not like
'cause it's-
inside, but like,
Yeah.
record yourself before.
Document it.
Yeah.
Like de todo.
Yeah.
Hey.
I like it. Yeah. There was one place I went to. I was asked to go to this friend's house, and she had this like red light like bed thing where like it felt like 4 hours of sleep if you were there for half an hour. And it was cool. I definitely felt like I wasn't asleep, but I felt like I was dreaming. It was weird.
Rested.
Yeah, I definitely felt rested. And that was at a time when I wasn't sleeping much.
Talking about rest, I'm sick and tired of my bed because my daughter sleeps like a starfish, and I blame my wife for making her, like letting her sleep in the bed, and my wife sleeps like a diagonal arrow. So I always have to sleep on the side of the bed when I get in, and my butt cheeks hang off the bed. And it's been going on for a while now, and I just finally said I'm sick and tired of it. Like I can't sleep. And then I went yesterday to go like feel beds, and we took a couple stores, and I would lay in and I was like, holy shit, this is what money can buy. And I tried them, and then I tried different pillows because I don't know about you guys, but I can't find a fucking pillow to save my life.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I tried this purple pillow, and I was like, what the fuck? So I bought one, and I slept with it half the night, but some reason my wife must have thrown a pillow on my side, and I slept with my shitty pillow for the other half. But anyways, the point is, they have these fucking beds. I don't know, you guys probably have one, but like it fucking just like sits you in like zero gravity or some shit like that.
Oh.
And I was like, holy shit, I need one of these. And
Yeah.
Yeah, but ¿cuánto cuesta?
it was actually pretty cheap. compared to because there's some like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. I was like, I don't want to sleep that good because like I told my wife I've never had like a brand new bed.
Yeah.
Like I've never been always like hand me downs or like yard sales or you know. And I told her I'm sick and tired of fucking sleeping, and I think like sleep is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And,
Nah, man, I love sleep.
And I told her let's go and get one, and then. Yeah, it was like a couple thousand for the fucking base. That does and the massages, bro. Like you.
Y no se va a levantar.
Yeah, and so like but I told her I wanted a king because for some reason I like to sleep like this, but on mine I can't sleep like this because half my fucking arm hangs off and then it's like numb half the night. So yeah. I got a king size bed because I wanted to invest into my sleep.
So when do you get it?
So I could have taken it last night, but then I was like, fuck, if I take it last night, then I have to fucking move my shit out. And then they'll drop it off on Saturday.
Nice.
So by next time we film, I'll tell you guys how it went. Maybe I can dream. I think that's my biggest issue. I can't dream. Like I just don't go that deep of sleep because like either I'm fucked up like this. But have you guys tried the purple like beds?
No.
I have one.
You have one?
Yeah.
Fuck. I wanted
we have
one.
Technically two. The first ours, like our bed, we got a king size and we bought it at Furniture Row.
Oh, that's right.
And we do have the pillows too. Just like the one pillow for me, one pillow for him, and then we do have like cheaper pillows to be around.
Yeah, those motherfuckers are expensive, bro.
They're hella expensive. Yeah. But then for our guest room, we got one, but we bought it off of the mattress discount store allá on Lincoln.
Fuck, I should have gone there.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been brand new though.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were selling me a used purple. Well, the guy said it wasn't used, but it's like
but it was all dirty
you
and
return
stuff.
it,
Yeah.
and they like disinfect it, and then they sell it to you.
Yeah, like the one we got from that store, se miraba like dirty. But so I don't know if it was like their, models that they have just at the store. Because I think they redid them. And so they were getting rid of all the older models. And I think that's why that store got them. And so I'm like, oh, well, it's for our guest room. Like, we'll just clean it off or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, we got one of those too.
So I tried it, and like, you put your shoulder in, and like the shoulder like falls in, but not your body. It's fucking crazy. I mean, I didn't want to pull a trigger on one of those because it was like $4,800 just for the fucking mattress.
Yeah.
But I tried it, and that mattress firm, they have one that's like medium, and then I tried the one across the street at that Furniture Row, and the one there felt like way different. The one at the mattress firm, like I guess they have like they only sell that type of purple.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. But then it was like, it's not $4,800 amazing.
Yeah.
So then I just got something cheap. But the base was the whole cool thing. Like and then I run hot as fuck. Like I sweat like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
My wife runs cold. So like I got one that you like lay on and it's cold as fuck. And I was like,
Yeah. See, I got to take control when we buy a mattress next time because we got one of those beds that can go up and like down and stuff.
Well, like the base moves, right?
Yeah. And I wanted two mattresses because like,
like that king that split.
yeah, one for me because I feel like I sleep different than my wife does.
Yeah.
She wanted one. We got one, and we ended up just barely giving it to my daughter because it got to the point where it was like too soft.
Yeah.
And like my lower back hurts, so like I want to get something where I can just have like. Doesn't mean she can't join me, right? But I just want like because I know that we sleep differently. Like I'm a side sleeper, and so
I didn't think
Me
that
too.
through.
yeah.
I'm a side sleeper for sure. And Michael like switches, but he's been snoring lately, and I just want to be like, that's because.
I no longer snore.
It's when he's laying flat
That's
on
how
his
I
back, and I'm like, I can't, dude.
I slay. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna.
So you don't snore no more?
tell a funny
No,
story.
after they got my tonsils out, I don't snore anymore.
Nice.
Unless, like, this is my issue. Like, I've been trying out, like, 8 different pillows. There's one that I sleep like this, and that one I do
well,
snore, but I feel it's because I can't fucking breathe.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't snore anymore. Crazy.
Nice.
Get your tonsils out.
We had
Didn't he say in the other podcast, don't get him out?
Yeah.
No, the recovery is the worst thing I've ever felt, but then I feel like I'm a pussy for, like, recovery. Yeah. I've never broken a bone, thankfully, or anything, and that's been my biggest surgery. So I'm like, But yeah, that fucking sucks. But after 3 weeks, now we're chilling.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Don't snore, sleep better-ish.
It doesn't seem like we have a snoring problem at our house, but one time we had a sleepover, and our friend that stayed she snored so loud, and it was so hard not to laugh, and I couldn't sleep. Like I wanted to just like go
Sound
home.
like a semi going down the hill.
Yeah, it was. I just sat there. I was like, and like, I did. Like, it took everything for me not to just burst out laughing because I'm just like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? So that was embarrassing.
That's funny.
Yeah,
But you find it funny?
yeah. It was, and Quincy was, also wanting to laugh. So it was just one of those things where like, yeah, it was just too much.
Where did she sleep?
What?
Where did she sleep?
What do you
Eso
mean?
no se pregunta.
Was she in the middle? Was she in the middle, the side?
I think it was the middle, if I remember right.
So you have
Yeah.
a big bed.
It needs to be big. Yeah. Since we're in the bedroom already, that was a good transition.
Thank you. I just wanted to
Yeah.
tell you guys about my bed because I thought it was fucking badass. But now that you took it it was definitely planned.
Yeah. Well, I said we were going to talk about relationships. I said we're going to talk about sex today. So let's get uncomfortable. Let's get uncomfortable here. How's what I guess what's the best way to say it? Like, how's y'all's relationships? Like, what as far as like we got a new father over here, we got 2 kids over here.
Yeah.
Like
All I can say it works. I'm a kid. I'm a kid.
yeah, no, I mean, is sex a big part of your guys' like relationship, marriage? Like, how's that for y'all?
I know my husband wishes it was more, a bigger part.
Is that most men, or is that like?
I think so. I think most men want that more,
Yeah.
But I think, and me personally, like I just feel like, and maybe it is a lot for women, right? But like it's very mental for us.
Yeah.
So, like, if you piss me off during the day and then at nighttime you trying to get it, it's like,
Yeah.
get the F off me. Like, and if you didn't try to, like, make it better, right your wrong, or take accountability or whatever, it's like, what the hell are you doing? You know, that's how I am. Now, that's not to say that every woman is like that, because I know there are some people that, I don't know, I mean, their drive is just different too, right? Because everybody is different. So they're just like, I know that in the past, like we'll fight or something like that, like when we were younger, and he'd be like, "Oh, let's have makeup, whatever," and I'm like, "No," because that doesn't fix the problem, And I think that's like a young mentality when it's like you ignore the problem, and just because you were physical, oh, everything's cool, everything's fine, but no, the problem is still there. And if you don't address whatever it is going on, then it's going to come back over and over again.
Yeah.
So, but I was just, actually a couple days ago, there was a video of a guy that came up on my feed on TikTok. And he said something that I was like, oh shit. He was like, he said, sex isn't a need in your relationship. And he's like, and I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for it or whatever, because a lot of men, that's how they say that they connect, is through sex or whatever. But when I think about it, I'm like, do they really though? Because it's like, if that's how you connect with your spouse, then why the fuck are you over here cheating and shit?
Yeah.
Because clearly you didn't connect with your spouse, right? And so he said, yes, sex is important, but intimacy goes way beyond sex. So if you can't really be intimate with your partner as far as like feelings go, then, like sex is not that important. And then he also talked about like the importance of non-sexual touch.
Yeah.
Which is something that like actually I had brought up, with my own partner, because I'm like, every time, or I brought it up because the guy talked about Pavloving your wife. You know what that means? So, like, every time you're around her, if you're groping her, like, si está cocinando y vas y le agarra la chichi, si está cocinando y vas y le agarra la nalga, or, like, you know, like, every single time you're just touching her in that way, or, like, let's say you're like, oh, let's make out or whatever, but the end goal is always sex, then you're kind of making her think that every time you start any type of physical touch, it's for sex. So that's the whole Pavlov thing, you know, like she's not gonna want to, because every time she's like sex, and if she's not feeling it, she's gonna start pushing away. So I kind of brought it up to Michael. I'm like, think about it. Like, every time that I say, let's just cuddle or whatever, like, just hold my hand, then it starts creeping up into something else, and then boom, you know? And I'm like, no, it shouldn't be like that, you know? But I showed him some videos of, like, the guy and stuff, and he's like, no, yeah, like, he has a point. He's right. And that's the thing about our relationship is that we're now to a point, like, we can have these conversations, and he's open. Like, he understands it. He actually listens to what I'm saying and I'm explaining. And I am lucky that I do have a partner like that, because I do see, like, friends of mine or just, like, acquaintances that, like, you can't have a normal conversation with their partner because they shut down. Yeah. You know? And it's like, well, then how are things going to get any better? You know? But I don't know. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, that was perfect. I mean, that's 100% kind of what I want to talk about, because there's such a big difference between, I think, males and females. Yeah. But then you break it down, and then just personalities in general, like they're different, you know. And I think, like, non-sexual touch is a big thing for females. Yeah. You know, I think, to me, the beautiful thing about sex is, like, it is a means to connect. It's a means to, like, be vulnerable with your partner, right? But if, based on how you were raised to believe sex was, like, there's some, you know, accounts that I listen to that are, like, kind of therapists' accounts and stuff, and talks about, like, females that think, like, they're supposed to have sex, right? Yeah. So it feels like they have a different feel and connection through sex. So the one thing I love that you said is, like, you guys are able to kind of communicate, you know what I mean? Like, I think of very strict religions that grow up that kind of, like, the purity culture that makes sex like this bad thing. So, like, even when you're having sex, or, you know, and females are very can be in their head or mental about it. Like, it can throw it off about sex where they're not really connecting even with themselves in there, because and I think, to me, the thing that makes sex great is when you're okay to be vulnerable with your partner, but you're also able to really just enjoy it yourself, because sex really isn't for the man, right? Or just for the woman. Like, there's so many good benefits of just sex in general, but I mean, I've heard stories of women that just never have orgasms. I've heard, you know, just different things.
Well, have you heard that there's, like, I can't remember, there's a certain part in Africa, in their culture, donde when the little girls are born, they cut their clits out, or they, like, sew it, because they're not supposed to feel good. Yeah. Like, down there. Like that is, like, against all their beliefs or whatever. Like, like, how fucked up is that, you know? And then I think of, like, our culture, you know? I mean, I don't know how you grew up and if your parents talked to you about it or your parents talked to you about it, but, like, I know for damn sure, like, my parents didn't talk to me about it. Like, the sex conversation I had with my dad was when he was driving me down to Cali, because I was going to go to school down there. And it was basically like, you know, you just have to be careful, you know, guys only want one thing kind of thing. But it wasn't that, like, that was it. That was the conversation. It wasn't about, like, this is how you should be treated and this is how it happens, or this, you know, none of that. I mean, I learned some of that through school, because I think, like, what is it, like 7th grade or 8th grade, they teach us, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, I don't know here or that, but back in Cali, like your parent had to opt you in for that class, or it wasn't a class. I think it was in biology, and you had to okay for that week for your student to be in the classroom while they talked about it. But I feel like just growing up in our culture, me personally, I felt like I had to do stuff to please the guy.
Yeah.
You know, like, because that's how you grow up. You grow up catering to the man all the time. So it doesn't really matter what you want. If they want it, you have to give it to them.
Yeah.
But then what happens if you don't? Then, you know, we see people like cheating and stuff, and then they try to justify it. Oh, it's because you didn't give me the attention or whatever, you know? And I mean, we went through our little thing in the past, and I think, you know, with going through therapy and stuff like that, that's when I learned, like, no, I'm going to do things that I want to do when I want to do them.
Yeah.
Not because I'm obligated to please you.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes like whether you're married or not. I do see and I hear people saying, oh, well, you're my wife. You have to sleep with me. You have to give it to me. It's like, no, like that in itself, like if you're making somebody do something that they don't want to do and they already told you they don't want to do it, that's a form of, can we say the word? You know what I'm saying?
I think it bleeps it out, doesn't it?
Or they say grape, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is, but a lot of people in our culture and just in all the cultures when you're married, they don't see it like that because there's this sense of you belong to me kind of thing. And I've told Michael, I'm like, I don't belong to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, like I am my own self. Like I belong to myself. And if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, because then it's like, if you don't feel like doing it and you do it, you're just going to be like this. It's like, is that what you want?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be interacting with you.
Yeah.
So is that what you want? You know, and like you feel like shit and then they feel like shit, you know, maybe depends. Maybe you have a dude or a girl that are like, I don't give a shit as long as I get mine. And do you really want to be with somebody like that?
Yeah. It's not what it's about. It's got to be a two-way connection, you know, tune-in thing. And it is, because there's like the men that, well, you got to do it. You're my wife. But then there's also the females it isn't said to them, and they feel like that's their duty. So then they just become disconnected with each other. And I think it's a shame, because really it should be a connection between two people. And I think, like, you know, and I want to kind of go a little bit crazy here, but like I think about like masturbation, right? Like as females, like I think as females, they got to know what they like. They got to know what feels good to them. And then they got to be able to communicate that to their partner, right? And same with men, because like to me that communication is key, because at the end of the day you want it to be something that both people can enjoy, that they can connect with, and really know each other's, you know, bodies, their preferences, and
Can I ask you this, like when you were young and you first started having sex, were you as open to having that communication with your partner? Because me personally, I don't know por qué, but it was almost like me daba vergüenza to talk about it, to say, oh, I don't like this, or oh, I do like this, or whatever. Like it was almost like taboo to talk about it, you know? And now that I'm older, now I'm like, no, you know, I don't like that, or I do. Like I'm more willing to discuss it and, like I said, like have these open conversations. But I feel like when you're freaking like 18, 19, like you don't know what the crap you're doing. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's like you don't want to talk about it. You don't. Yeah. You don't. Yeah. And you just kind of just go with the flow, I guess.
Yeah, I can see how it could be difficult for females. This is gonna sound stupid, but I watched American Pie in like junior high, right? And Finch was talking about these different books he would read on sex. So I just remember always just trying to educate myself on
Yeah.
on that. But yeah, I don't like, as a man in my 30s, I'm a lot more comfortable talking about like my needs, but now I'm just more curious about like what feels good to you, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Because
Yeah,
at the end
yeah.
of the day, like it's got to be, you got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to talk. And then if there's a better understanding of like what works for someone, what doesn't work for someone, then like it just, to me, that's, and it comes back to vulnerability, right? Like you got to be willing to talk about that stuff.
And
So,
it definitely takes a level of maturity too, because like all three of us are all married. All three of us have had kids, and we all know that bodies change after having kids, and even after being married, dude. Like,
yeah.
how different are you now?
Me pusimos papazote.
You know what I'm saying? like the dad bods are in full effect and the mom bod is in full effect. You know what I mean? Like our bodies are not what they were then. And so if you have a spouse that's criticizing you for your body after having kids, like that's not cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't be one of those dudes that's like, well, you need to shape up after having that baby. Like,
Yeah.
Fuck.
there's dudes like that
Yeah.
though, you know? And I'm like, I wish, you know what I'm saying? Like, no.
I think definitely. I mean, I've been married less time than all you guys, but like after like the pregnancy, well, more than the end, I was like, I'm more of like a mental game person. I'm like, no le quiero picar la cabeza al niño, a la niña. So I think we struggled at like the last trimester because like I just couldn't physically like.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, it doesn't work like that. I'm like, I know, but it's hard to be, like imagine. It's stupid not thinking
Yeah.
about it, but I'm like, it was really rough because I was more of a like, fuck, I don't want to poke the like, and it's stupid because it's not like.
Was it not like on a show? Was it on Knocked Up or something?
Something like that.
And
yeah.
so like it's hard, and then like you said, like after the postpartum's a bitch. I remember my wife being
yeah.
like, oh, like and I'm like I don't care. Like I told her, I'm like, I mean, and then like breastfeeding is hard because like there's like, como tú dices, you can't squeeze a chichi because it's different now because it's not. You can't be like my wife says, you can't be sexual with that because it's like what I feed your daughter with. And I'm like, pues ya me las puteaste.
Dude, that's my favorite time, man. Is like they're just plump.
Thirsty in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's totally a joke. That's weird, gross. Yeah, but I think there's stages in life, like you said. Like I remember when we were first dating. Yeah, of course you're fucking going like hamsters. Like who isn't?
Oh.
And then like gradually like I don't know who can go every day, a couple of times a day. It just doesn't happen. Like life gets you get like you said. But I'm like, and then I don't know. Like I think like everything you guys said is just like
Yeah.
I could agree to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and you're at a crazy stage because you're at the new baby stage, you know, and
Yeah.
that does take a toll, and it kind of going back to you with like men that expect their wife to be a certain way, you know. I think it also can work in both ways, where even like the female doesn't feel that she is what she was, and then it's hard for her to. It is, and that's the one thing that I'm learning a lot is like. It is such a mental game for females and even for some males, right? Like some males, like if they're not into a specific woman, it's hard for them to like.
So like, I just got a thought or whatever. So okay, I'll put it out there. I don't have a high sex drive. I don't. But I also saw another. It was a sex therapist that popped up or whatever, and she says, well, it's because there's two types of. Maybe it's not saying like, oh, you have a low drive and you have a high drive. It just depends. It definitely depends on how you get there. There's a lot of people that like, oh, I'm ready to go at any time. But then there's other people that it takes time to get there, you know, like maybe you start out with a massage or something and then it just boom, it happens. Yeah. But then there's people that you don't need the massage, you just go straight into it, right? Yeah. But I've heard of like, we all know some people, you know, like that, oh, they say, oh, you know, I don't want to. Like for me, I always thought like it is kind of weird for a man to be like, oh, I don't want to. Because it's like all the men that I've ever known or like even like on social media and all that, like all y'all want it. You know what I mean? So it's like for a man to say, oh no, I don't want it or whatever. I'm like, my red flags are always like, you know, and especially if like I know that they ventured out of their relationship, I'm like, no, you don't have a low. It's just that something's going on between you and you don't want to face it.
Yeah.
And so therefore you don't want to be with your wife, but yet you do have a drive to be with other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
no.
So like, I can tell you from experience, like where me and my wife have dated or dating females, like there's just some women that I'm just not into.
Yeah.
Like, and even like if it ends up leading to an intimacy point, it's hard for me to be like, and it's not that they're not like cute, but like just like the vibes, like just like the overall how I feel about this person. Like, so even for me as a male, like I gotta feel that like connection. You know what I mean? Because if it's not there, then it's just like, like you're fun, I'm cool, we can just hang out. Because that's one thing about like us, like not every person we hang out with, it doesn't lead to that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we just, you know, enjoy the company of another female, and it's just like, but there's sometimes where for me, I'm like, no, I can't. You know what I mean? Like I can't. Like it's just not gonna work. And it's weird because to me, it comes down to like how the conversation goes, how the vibes feel. Like if I'm really vibing with this person, which makes it hard because like there's some people that I vibe with really well, and it's just like, you know, obviously that can't happen. You know what I mean? And then there's people where it's just like,
I'm gonna remember. There's like, oh, I'm vibing with you. Red flag.
yeah, sorry,
Gotta go.
sorry, no, and honestly, for me, I can get along with everybody, but there's just like a certain level of person that I just really can be like, cool. Like I like our conversations. This is cool. And then there's some where I'm just like, I can't do it. You know what I mean?
I want to add to that. Like I think, like I'm a very mental person. So like if I were like put in the situation to like to cheat, I don't think I could because like it's so mental. Like I don't know how someone could cheat and have a clear conscience. You know?
Yeah.
Because I think that would eat me up to the point that I wouldn't be able to do anything. Like I just like I don't know. And I think it's just how you said, like how you were raised, how you like. My parents have been married for fucking like 25 plus years. And like I see them like, yeah, everybody has their rough patches, but I don't think it's enough to be like, I'm gonna venture off over there. Like I see it as like there's so much to lose for nothing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And it's not even that, you know?
Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, I'm gonna lose this. It's more like just mentally, like if you're not willing, I think the biggest thing is like if you're not willing before you were ready to lock in with someone. Like I see these kids just knowing someone for a couple months and they're ready to get married. Well, yeah, that's kind of fucking crazy because like if you don't, and say in the nicest way, taste all the Skittles in the rainbow, like you don't know exactly when you're ready. Like I remember telling my friends like when I first like met my wife, I'm like, if she's fucking ready to one day say like let's get married, I'm gonna fucking drop whoever I'm with and I'm fucking just gonna because I think you get to a point in life that you're like, I don't know. I remember dating, and I mean this is not like fucking forever ago, but like like you said, like girls they're pretty, but they're like, fuck, your vibe is not the fucking vibra. You know? Like you're just nasty in your personality. You know? And so I'm like,
and I mean if you're at that point in your life, that's what you want, by all means, you know, go for it. I think that's my biggest problem with some dudes here in town, that like they're just messing around with girls left and right, but then they have like, I don't even want to call them a significant other because they're really not that significant if you're fucking around, right? But it's like, if that's what you want to do, then go mess around. Don't like rope people in, you know, and get snipped. Why are you getting people pregnant left and right if you, one, don't want to be a part of their lives, and two, you're just giving them another responsibility, you know? It's like, just go handle what you need to do. Yeah. But I don't know. That's just my...
I feel like dating today, it's so detached. Like people are just so detached. Like men, I feel like, I'm not saying they want one thing, but like it's almost kind of like they're so unattached to themselves and they got their own trauma they don't deal with. That like when it comes to dating women, they're just very... they're detached, and it becomes this unhealthy relationship where it's like we're gonna fall in love quick, and then eventually like the
Well,
real
that's what I'm
version.
saying. Like they,
Yeah.
like I do think that a lot of men associate sex as closeness, but
Yeah.
if you're avoiding the problem, and the problem could be within you,
Yeah.
like you said, you have your own traumas that you're dealing with that you haven't taken the time to really work through.
Yeah. They get validated through sex and attention, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where it comes from, and they end up hurting those that are close, or they don't have relationships that last, you know. And I think that's a valid thing that happens now. And that's kind of what's cool is like, you know, I know like Quincy's talking to females, I'm talking to females, and I'm always curious. Like I always kind of want to know, like, so what's it like dating, right? Because I like, it's funny because like the females that we hang with, they've been straight, you know what I mean? But just to kind of get the feedback of like, what's it like to be out there, and I just like, damn, like, I think if I was a female, I don't know if I would date men. Seriously, like, and maybe it's not just men's, and I'm sure there's women that kind of have like their own traumas that they avoid and hide, you know. But for me, it's just like, yeah, you gotta. I see sex as a way to connect with you know, and just it's a cool way to connect. But if you're not even connected with yourself, it just becomes this empty thing that you just try to accomplish, you know. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's been cool to kind of dive into kind of like what we're doing and kind of learn more, read more. It's unconventional, but it's like,
You think? Hello.
yeah,
reals.
but it's crazy. Like you see women in their 30s that are looking to date, and they're still looking for this idea of this love that it's going to be there. And for me, it's just like, maybe try something different. You know what I mean? Because it ain't working.
Yeah.
you
Right,
know?
so like, but if I feel like, for example, in your situation, it's another female, and you're okay with it. But what if it was another male?
Yeah.
Not do that.
So I'm not attracted to males, so it's different.
But I'm
you
saying
know?
like, what would like, how would that situation not like work out for you? Like, would that be a deal killer for you? Like, you wouldn't. What I'm trying to say is like, I feel like when there's a marriage, it's like a ride or die. You know.
Yeah.
You're gonna go through obstacles no matter what. But if you got presented with like you guys wanted to be with another female, but what if like, for example, your wife wanted to be with another
Yeah,
male,
what
but
if
still
she
be
just
with you?
clicked with somebody at a coffee shop, just boom, and it was a dude.
Right. And
Yeah.
what would you do? What would be, because right now it's like you said, it's cool for you because you like females as well, right?
Yeah.
But what if it was a male?
Yeah. So that's a good question. I think Edgar kind of talked about this during one of the podcasts. So I think what makes it work for us right now is that we're both attracted to females. Like, and it's not like an open relationship where I can just go date some female over here and she can date. So it's, you know, so it's not that way. I mean, I guess if she ever clicked with another male, and wanted to date the male, like, I think it's something we'd have to sit down and talk about, like, and really what that means. 'Cause like, again, like the females that I'm talking to, the goal is to like have us all hang out. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, 'cause like like I said, I'm not attracted to males myself. So it's not like we could hang out with another male. You know what I mean? 'Cause like the end result isn't like, it doesn't sound, it's
This
like,
is sounding very one way.
it's like menudo, you know what I mean? It ain't working for me. You know what I mean? But what the hell was that over there? John's blushing. I think I might be blushing. I think I just saw I saw it out of the corner of my eye there. But
Editor, can we get a replay of that?
yeah, let's see some tape on that right there.
Oh my
but
gosh.
but no, yeah. So I mean that gets asked a lot, you know, with us. But I think the reason it works, and maybe it's easier for me to say it as a man. I'm curious, like, what a female's, you know, perspective is. But the reason it works now is because we can both, you know, talk to that same female, get to know that same female, and connect. If it was, yeah, I mean, I think if she was ever into another man on her own, like, I don't know, like, I don't know what would. It hasn't.
I
come
guess for
across
me,
yet.
it's just kind of like it opens up your relationship for somebody else to come in and
Fuck it up.
not fuck it up, but maybe, yeah. Not to sound like corny and shit, but like steal your heart? You know what I mean? Because what if like one of these women that you're talking to, that you're kind of like feeling out, to possibly like introduce with your wife and see if it works out for the three of you guys. But what if this one you end up having like some deep connection with, you know?
Yeah.
And like, let's say that Quincy doesn't, like, she's just like, nah, I ain't vibing with her. But now you have this like these strong feelings with this person. Like, has that happened yet? Or like, are you gonna be like, no, like stop it right then and there so that it doesn't get to that point? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it just kind of opens you up to like the unknown, these possibilities, you know, that could rock your relationship.
Yeah.
You know?
When he needed 2 weeks for a heartbreak, remember?
Yeah.
For real,
No,
see?
honestly, like, in situations it has happened, right? Like, there's been situations where I vibe with a certain female and we get along well, you know what I mean? And after a while, like, Quincy's like, no, you know what I mean? So, like,
Do you think she says no because she sees you like
Vibing more with her
or do
than
you
she
think it's just
vibes
like
with her.
so I know there's been times, and it goes on both our sides, where like I can see her vibing with someone, and I'm just like, damn, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe I don't-
And
For real.
but even with her, like sometimes she'll give me shit and says I make like stupid, like what's the word? And everybody teases me about it, but like just like I need to be wearing some sunglasses so I don't make eye contact. 'Cause I got those like hard eyes, you know what I mean? But honestly, no. Like I think the cool part about like us being able to do what we're doing, it's just the ability to communicate, the ability to have boundaries and understand. Because just like with a man, right? Like if there's a female that she's not vibing with and I'm not vibing with, then like it's just like cool. I'm cool to be friends with you, but like I can't be talking to you all the time, you know. But yeah, there's been scenarios where she might be into someone more, and even for her, she's like, you know, maybe she's just a friend, someone I can talk to, right? Versus like we should be hanging out with this person in a different capacity. But yeah, there's been times like I can think of a couple where like I really vibed with them, and I was like, cool, I could definitely hang out with them. And Q's like, nah, like it doesn't work. I think she's more into you, or I don't really think she's putting the time into me. So for me, it's just like, well, if you're not going to put the time into my wife as well, then it doesn't work.
We're a package.
Yeah. And that's what's cool, you know?
bro,
Like,
it's hard to keep like straight, like not laugh because like it's such a fucking like rare situation.
Yeah.
I've never fucking ran into someone like besides the show like the Sister Wives, but
But
that's
that
like-
was different too.
But like it's
Yeah.
still like something so like not. I'm not gonna say normal because what is normal?
Yeah.
It's like such a different situation that like
yeah.
it's very complex because you say like every man's dream, right? 2 females, blah, blah, but like then you talk about how complex it actually is and how like mentally straining and like
Yeah.
you know like
It's once you break down like what society has conditioned you to think, and you actually like kind of open up and think about it, like, damn, like it's no different than 2 people connecting. It's 3 people connecting.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I always looked at it like it's about love. It's about connection. It's about safety. It's about support. Like you can hang out with people and feel that in 2 different ways, you know, from myself, from Quince, you know what I mean? And we can feel that same thing from somebody else and experience this connection that like maybe we wouldn't have if we would have just allowed ourselves to just, you know, do our thing. Because there's people that are like, why are you doing that? Like, I thought you know, like, because I mean, she's like kind of she's come out to her family, and we've, you know, and we kind of do this. And like, there's certain girls that I might talk to more often than she talks to them, but they're still good friends, and we just plan to hang out and do our thing. You know what I mean? But it's just, it's different. But like for us, like, again, because it's not all sexual. It can't be all sexual because like it's got to be more about like true connection, friendship, like having a good time. Like, you know, like we love to have drinks, play games, sing songs, like just sit and talk until late. You know what I mean? Like even sleepovers that we'll have, like it's not always sex. It's just hanging out, right? So it is different, but like I'm seeing the beauty in it, and also true too. Like, I mean, it's part of Q's journey as well. Like she's exploring herself, finding out she's bi, and not really ever experiencing that. You know what I mean? So, because I mean, early on I was nervous, and there's times where like even as a man, like you also feel a little bit of jealousy. You're just like, damn. But it's just like, what is that I'm feeling? Navigating it, and then just communicating it through each other and with each other, and really just understanding that there's boundaries. You know what I mean? So it goes the same. Like if there's someone I vibe with and she doesn't vibe with it, it's not going to go anywhere, and vice versa. But I don't think we do it to like, oh, well, you didn't vibe with this one, so I'm not going to vibe with this one. Like we're really just truly trying to get to know people. And yeah, like and this might sound weird, but I'm excited to actually like hang out with someone that's truly bi. And maybe females are just all somewhat on the spectrum, and maybe they're not. You know what I mean? But it's been.
My wife said no. I asked her.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, would you be there? She said no. Oh,
Now,
yeah.
do I like? I mean, I have really close friends, like obviously my best friend and stuff, and like we've joked in the past of like, you know, if we ever were to like divorce these fools because they're stupid as hell, you know,
Yeah.
then we would live together.
Yeah.
But it would not be like, it wouldn't be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we would raise our children together, and it's like, because we enjoy each other's company, we get each other. You know what I mean?
But you know the sayings like you can't put a bunch of females in the same room because then they fight.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that's not true, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
They'd be the
anyways,
best friend wives.
But in this case, like I don't know, we like joke about it, you know.
This thing got hot.
But we say like, oh, we'll buy a house together. Like your family is upstairs, my family is downstairs. We cook together. You know what I mean? Like things like that, but not at all like sexual or whatever. But do I love spending time with my friends? Hell yeah, because there's not this like
That's the title of this video. I'm in love with my best friend.
there's not this pressure, there's not sexual pressure.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. Like with guys, most of the time, it's like at the end of the day, it's almost like an expectation from us.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like,
Yeah. And honestly, to me, like you kind of nailed it. Like it's just, and it doesn't have to be sexual, right? But like just having that company, that person that you can enjoy with and do life together with. Because I look at women in their 30s that are going through traumatic breakups, and it's like, you know, they're reaching their 40s, and it's just like, I just got out of a third, fourth bad relationship. Where am I going? So that's why for me, I'm just like, look, I know you've been trying this monogamy bullshit, right?
yeah.
Try something different, because like it might surprise you. Because at the end of the day, like we just want to be around people that love us, that want to live life together, experience life together, like raise kids together, right?
Yeah.
What I mean, like that kind of stuff. Like, so for me, it's just like it doesn't have to be around this sexualness, right? Like I think it was, I don't remember what it was. It might have been maybe her dad or something. But like, oh, you know, he mentioned something like, oh, y'all was just having threesomes. It's like, no, it's not. It's not that at all. Like honestly, for us, it really is. It's about like connection and really like I think maybe our
Well, I mean, to a degree, there is some truth to it, because everybody can have friends and it's not sexual at all. But that is like the difference. Like we're all friends, we could all hang out and we can all have a good time, but that like we're not gonna be doing shit like that, right? But you guys are finding someone, or you're looking for someone that you can have that with, you know?
Yeah, it's got to be someone like, and again, the people that we hang out with it's not all that way, but like I think our end goal is like if something were, if something,
That's the end goal. See?
if we were to find a situation or a person where there was attraction, love, and that we could just enjoy all the beauty of that all together, like it's.
Would you marry each other? You would marry.
Bring them on.
You would marry
But they can't.
them to you. Yeah, you can.
It's
You
not.
can marry.
It's not legal.
It's not legal.
Yeah,
You can't have two wives.
you can't.
No.
Yeah, but you know, but I think we'll just call it a partnership or companionship. You know what I mean?
LLC.
Right? Yeah, it's it's a limited liability couple.
Oh my
throuple.
gosh.
No, but you know, and honestly, for us, like it's just a matter of like just taking it day by day, and I think with the right person, it could be something that's just really, really beautiful and cool, but we're also not rushing it. And also just like there's a big hookup culture. Like right now with like single people, it's like
up in here and stuff. That's what I'm telling you. Like,
they
and
jump
this
into
town
it
is
too
so
quick.
tiny, dude. Like,
They jump into it quick. So really for us, it's just like sometimes it's a red flag when like you can see someone that wants to just jump in quick.
but it's got to be like because of where we live at too, right?
Yeah.
Like, the culture here is very much like I remember in high school, people were getting together and then they'd be like, yeah, we're getting married. I'm like, bitch, you're 18, you're 19. What do you mean? You know? And for me, it was definitely a culture shock because obviously like I come from California where like people are like living with their parents and they're like well into their 30s and stuff. And like a lot of my friends don't have kids still, you know? And at this age, in my mind, I'm like, dang, like I wouldn't have kids at this point, right? But in California, like it's totally normal to have kids well into your 30s, late 30s.
Yeah.
And like having your first kid in your late 30s, you know? But here, like people have kids in their early 20s. They get married in their early 20s, like 19, you know, coming straight from the mission or whatever, right? But that's the culture here. It's like as soon as you graduate, like that religion los mandan a su misión, regresan, se casan, and then they're on their own.
Y pisotean.
Hey.
And then they get
And then that's the thing, like there's this whole like, well, you know, in that religion, like, oh, you're not supposed to have sex. So then people are rushing to get married, to have sex, but then they have all these problems and that's why they get divorced.
Yeah.
You know?
after 7 kids.
Yeah, or even the people that don't get divorced and they're unhappy till they're like 40
Yeah.
or 50 and then they're trying to be single at that point, you know.
Yeah.
It's honestly just in general like relationships, it can be such a psychological mess, and there are men, and I'll say women as well, that just don't really care about the pain or trauma that they can cause to the other person. And that's where, to me, like, and it seems more prevalent now, and maybe because of social media and then people are talking about it more openly, but it's just like, that's why for me, I'm always like, and this is my sales pitch to y'all ladies.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, don't pigeonhole yourself into thinking that like you need a man to take care of you, or that you need to
you
find
sure
this
don't,
love.
girl.
Yeah, because like
What the heck?
you put yourself in vulnerable situations, like especially if you're a mom and like you're trying to introduce you have high hopes for this individual. You want to introduce your kids to this individual, and then this dude messes you up, and all of a sudden like you invest all this time and energy into something that doesn't work. And that's why for me, like, I'm just big on with us, like friendship, build that foundation of friendship. Because like if you can have that foundational like friendship, like you talk about with like your female friend, right? Like at the end of the day, like with your spouse, your partner, whatever it is that you have, man, if there's no friendship there,
Yeah.
you're going to be lonely.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why for me, it's just like, you know, it's worked with the two of us. Now we're going to try to make it work with a third, but
So give them a call if you're interested.
yeah, give me a call, 1-800-999.
He only likes blonde girls with blue
Yeah.
eyes.
Oh, God.
No, but it's different, but
Me
it's
gustan las
beautiful.
güeritas.
And that's what, it's not
He's
just,
not gonna say no because every girl he tells me it looks exactly the same. Blonde hair, blue eyes with tattoos.
no, man.
Yes.
No. But it is.
But
But it is.
Y'all making me blush there. But no, I just, for some reason, I think maybe they like me. I don't know. But that's just what's been happening lately. But no, it is.
Cactus.
It's complex, but it's beautiful. And like, but at the end of the day, like, it's not something that we have to do for us to continue to be together, you know? Because I think that's one thing I've heard and have from other people that even we've hung out with, that it's just like they wanted to do it because something was missing in their relationship.
Right.
You know, for me and for us, it's just like, I mean, we've been together for so long and we really haven't like had a girlfriend, so to speak, you know, and we just keep chugging along and doing our thing, and it'll be that way now. We just got to find a hyena. Is that what they call them? Did I say that right? Yeah. No. But Jennifer, give me a Jennifer Love Hewitt, a Rachel Lee Cook. You know
What
I
are
mean?
they?
One of
güeritas.
these. Well, hey, we
Yeah.
don't discriminate. Quincy likes chocolate skin, so do I. Like, we don't discriminate, right? Like, we're down.
You go for an Indian.
Anything, man. Like, honestly, just a beautiful soul. That's what I want.
But she has to be blonde.
No,
With
man.
tattoos
No,
and-
no, not at all. Not at all. So,
What's it saying? Like, oh, mejor la raza.
yeah.
No, ya mejoró la raza, ya se casó con la güerita.
Yeah.
Ay.
So, no, we don't discriminate. We're down to hang out with anyone that's just really open to that and honestly just wants to have fun, man. Like, I don't know. It's just
I like
weird.
the pitch, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was making my pitch. I forgot. I got
my
distracted.
gosh.
Some
So,
commercial music and then put your phone number on the bottom.
yeah, call me. So, no,
Nah,
I'm
dude.
just playing. So,
All right, we should. This one's
That-
gonna get hot again.
that's an hour right there.
Yeah.
So, well, that was an interesting. That John, you were quiet.
Yeah, because like, what am I
Oh
gonna say?
my
Like, whatever you guys
gosh.
saying is true.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's because I'm young too. I think that's just like kind of weird talking about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. We all have the same problems.
Yeah. Well, it's cool to get insight because, like, I mean, just kind of get your perspective on stuff. I'm sure a lot of women feel that way. You know what I mean? And obviously, men. So I got to end with this then. Like, what's a healthy amount of like sex to have per week? Like, what do y'all think?
I don't think that there's not like a this is the amount because every couple's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Seasonal too.
Yeah.
What if it's a little cold?
What is that? Hold up.
Turtle.
Oh no.
No
Anyway.
sale in the
Or la
winter.
niña just okay,
Dude,
throw a pillow on her so it doesn't see.
I had to make a rule where we couldn't have the kids in the bed anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anymore?
Yeah, because we would co-sleep. You know what I mean? So we'd have to find our ways to like,
Nah.
find our time.
forgot
But then it got
Who
to the
told me something that like I think the kid that must have just like been sleeping, but then he's little and started humping the pillow. I was like, what? You don't kick them out. Put a pillow over their head.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yeah, no.
We always lock the door.
yeah.
Well, you got bigger kids. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, we locked the door.
Even when they were little, like especially when they're little, because when they're little, a veces se levantan in the middle of the night because they can't sleep, they're scared, or they want water, whatever,
Los cachan
and
con
then
la
they
mano en
just
la masa.
open the door. You know what I mean? So, no, we always lock the door.
Yeah. I got an appetite. I feel bad for Quint sometimes. It's like
Stay away.
it just
Conejito, energizer, eh?
something, man. But
Oh my god.
Yeah, but I tell you, once you're dating and then you get older, it's definitely not every day, couple times.
yeah,
It's just like hips, man, the hip thrust thing.
I don't know. Yeah, but honestly, like I think hopefully the biggest thing that we can all take from it, and even our audiences, is just like learn to communicate your needs and your wants and what you like.
And respect
Yeah.
each other. No means no. Okay.
Yeah,
Ladies, please no blue balls. That's the worst thing that could ever happen to a man.
man, that's no
Estás
comment.
listo, y no, not today.
Yeah, and
Hey,
really,
hey. Pero ella te dijo sí y después te dijo no. Or you, in your mind, you kept telling yourself, worked yourself up, and then she said no?
No, she never says yes.
she sneezed, and then I was like, "Damn, it's on, girl. Okay, yeah,
She looked at me.
yeah."
I just
That's
can't.
your own fault.
I don't run through that situations.
That's my problem. Is I just like it doesn't matter. Like she could just like brush up against me accidentally or be doing something. I'll be like,
Michael too.
like-
I could be looking like a bum as hell, dude.
yeah,
And he's just over there like,
yeah,
you know? And I'm like, bro, I'm not even doing nothing. He's like, what you want me to do, babe? You're my beautiful wife. And I'm like, oh my God. And I
Yeah.
know he's going to be.
Well, and honestly, to me, like that's I think, and I think that speaks highly of like even just the man, like because like yeah, even for me, like there's times where Quincy's like, oh, I feel gross, and I'm just like, damn, girl, like you bringing them groceries like that, you know what I mean?
Sorry,
So-
guys. You won't be able to see
man.
it. Yes.
It's okay. They don't need to see me. They've seen enough of me today. I feel like, but no, I think that's cool, and I think, and it goes back to like even as a female yourself, like you're his queen, right? Like
Yeah.
you might not be feeling it, but he's looking at you like, damn, you know what I mean? And that, and,
Scrumptious piece of cake.
and that's what's cool. So I think just being able to, again, connect with yourself and understand that like you don't got to do it because you have to, but also like some men are built that way. Like they'll see you at what you think is not your best, and they're looking at you like fucking fillet. You know what I mean? Like,
Amen.
you know what I mean? And that's just, I think that's cool. But also like, yeah, like I think it's cool that you guys are able to communicate through it. You're still a young buck with your first child, and to me that's when it gets tricky, is when you start having kids, because then you can feel yourself as a man, the priority and the attention shifts, and now all of a sudden like you're over here looking at them, you know, breastfeeding boobies. I remember when he was breastfeeding, I was like, damn. I was like, whoo.
But then you have to like not sexualize it. That's the hard part, because you know, when you're breastfeeding, that's not what it is.
I can't touch when she's breastfeeding at all.
Yeah, and it's not like it was like when she was breastfeeding, it was like, damn. But like even when we were like, you know, engaging in sex during that time, it was just like, these are a little bit.
It's like, leave some for the kids.
Fuller, you know what I mean? But it is like it's a different experience. So we should probably stop before we get in another hour of this, because it can keep going.
Save it for the next one.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys watching again, and this was a fun day today. A lot of laughs today.
Yeah.
So
thanks so much, guys. He's about to go take a shower now.
yeah, I gotta wash it. That's what me and my friend would always be like, hey, do you wash
Te
it?
lo lavas.
Yeah, lávatelas, man. So, all right. See you guys.
See you guys.